Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Britzy here, and today we're going to be going over some tips and tricks to one of the strongest agents in Valorant, Cypher.
Nothing stays hidden from me.
Cypher's job is to control the map and give your team information that they can play around. When played correctly, he can solo hold sites, he can prevent retakes, and he can hold flanks. All of these attributes make him an almost must-have agent in competitive play. And here are a few tips and tricks that I learned when climbing to Immortal with Cypher during Valorant's closed beta. And tip number 1, on defense, your goal is to control a site's entry. Usually you'll be solo holding a site as Cypher, so you want to give your teammates time to rotate to you if the enemy comes to your site. What this means is that you should try to control the entry to that site with your traps and your cages, and just try to make it harder for the enemy to enter before your team has time to rotate. Remember, your job is to get information and get that to your team so that they can react and so that you can also react to that information. In addition, Cypher is also immensely useful on offense as well. On offense, your job is to control the team's flank. So at the beginning of the round, you should be trapping the potential directions that the enemy team can flank from. And by trapping these directions, you're giving your team information on where the enemy is, and you're giving your team time to react if the enemy decides to go for a cheeky flank. Further, Cypher is one of the best agents in the game to lurk. So if your team's going to one site and you trap the flank, you can kind of lurk behind your team and try to get a pick on somebody when they rotate. This pick might allow your team to rotate back to the other bomb site and get a free round out of it. Tip number 2, this one's pretty straightforward, but you want to place your traps at crouching head level. Any higher than this, and the enemy can crouch and walk under your traps. And any lower than this, and the enemy may be able to jump over your traps. And if you are struggling visualizing this, then what you want to do is crouch when you place your traps, and then put them at the head level of your agent. After doing this for a while, you'll get used to about where head height is, and you should just be able to do this on the fly. Tip number 3, this is something small, but this adds up a lot over time. If the game allows for it, you want to always be picking up your tripwires at the end of the rounds. These wires are $200 each, or 200 credits each, and therefore you could be saving up to 400 credits by picking them up. And if you do this multiple rounds in a row, then this could eventually be the difference from you being able to buy or not being able to buy in a future round, or you being able to buy your teammate or not being able to buy your teammate in a future round. And tip number 4 is your cages should be used offensively as well. Everyone does a pretty good job at using their cages on defense, but I consistently see Cyphers that are dying without using their cages at all on offense. As Cypher, your cages are basically a shorter range and a little bit worse version of a Brimstone Smoke. So when you're taking a site with your team as Cypher, you can use your cages to section off an entry point that your team or your Brimstone on your team has not already blocked off. Furthermore, these cages are really good at controlling vision, which means that they are immensely powerful when you are in a 1v1 or a 1v2 or 1v3 situation with the bomb planted. So you can use these cages to try to block off a line of sight for the enemy, and maybe you can even push through it yourself because the enemy is not likely to push through it themselves because of the sound it makes. And tip number 5, this one is something you guys should already know and hopefully something you guys are already doing, but you want to practice. As Cypher, you need to know as many camera and trap and smoke spots as you possibly can. And to find these, there are a bunch of websites. I'll link one website down in the descriptions below that posts a bunch of Cypher traps and camera locations for every single map. But further than this, start up a private match and join a custom game yourself and try to find new spots to put your cameras and traps. Because remember, changing up those positions and changing up where you place them is going to help so much with like holding the enemy back and holding a site when you're on defense or preventing a flank when you're on offense. And this pretty much wraps it up for the 5 tips and tricks to help you play Cypher just a little bit better. If you guys have any other questions about playing Cypher or anything in general, just leave them down in the comments below, and I try to respond to almost every single comment that I get on my videos. Or if you guys want to see some Cypher gameplay, follow me on Twitch. I'm live every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and the link for my Twitch will be down in the description below. Thanks everybody. Take it easy.